Hi guys, I am so excited to talk to y'all. If you're watching the replay, drop me a crown emoji. Ooh, I should put my crown on. Should I put my crown on? Is that the dumbest thing? Okay, here, I'll show you guys something. So, we are going to be talking about my journey to Crown Princess. So, this is my Crown Princess crown. And this is my brand new Queen crown. So when you hit Crown Princess, you get this gorgeous tiara. And when you hit Queen, you get this beautiful thing. I haven't really worn this one yet, so let's put it on. Oh my gosh, I feel very silly. Look at that. Wow. How have I not worn this, Rebecca? I just realized I haven't done a video in this. How have I not done a video in this? I'm gonna cry. I haven't seen myself wear this yet. I literally haven't put this on. That's insane. Okay, anyway, I'm having a moment. You guys are having to watch me have a moment. Okay, so, for those of you who don't know me, who might not know me, because you guys are like super far down in my lineage, I am one of your many incredible upline leaders. My name is Morgan. I have been with SeneGence for almost 5 years, which is nuts, totally nuts. I'm the girl who is hopped around from like job to job, hobby to hobby. Like I never have done anything in my life for 5 years, like at all. I'd never even had like a relationship for 5 years before my husband, who I've been with for 7 years now. But seriously, like 5 years for me to commit to something is crazy. So anyway, that's not the point. I'm going to be all over the place. I am here to talk to you guys about my journey, my first 3 years in business. So not the last 2 years, but just the first 3, because the last 2 has just been kind of insane. But the first 3 years. So I am actually super, super introverted, which I know on video, like I probably don't come off that way, but this is very learned. I've gotten comfortable over time. But in person, I am super introverted. I have a ton of anxiety. I am terrified of humans. But I was working full time and I really wanted to stay home with my kids. So that is, I don't know how much I want to go into that, but I had just had my second baby, and you know how they say like, oh, it'll get easier, oh, like whatever. It didn't. Dropping him off every single day never got easier. I quite literally cried like every single day. It was awful. And so I wanted to find a way to stay home with him, to stay home with my kids, to have more time with my kids. That is my number one reason I do this business, even to this day. And so I was able to quit my job in 9 months. And that was a good full-time job. I was making like $40,000, $50,000 a year, and I was able to match my income and stay home with my kids in 9 months. So I don't tell you that to impress you. I tell you that because I want you to understand why I'm here talking to you guys about this today, because a lot of the stuff that I'm going to tell you is crazy. I'm crazy. I am obsessed. I am very intentional with what I do. I am over the top. There is a reason that my team has done $11 million in 5 years, because I am insane. But it's because my why is very strong. It's because I had to stay home with my kids, and I would have done literally. When your why is strong enough, then the scary things, they might be scary, but you're going to do them anyway. If you knew for a fact that you could quit your job in 9 months, you'd send 1,000 messages. You would ask 1,000. Sorry, I don't know why it disconnected me. You would do anything. You would do literally anything if the why was big enough, right? And so anyway, so a lot of the stuff that I'm going to tell you is not normal. It's not expected. That's what I want you to understand. I'm telling you my journey. My journey was very intense because my why was intense, because I was in a deep, dark place and all I wanted was out of where I was. And so I don't expect you to do any of the things that I'm about to tell you, but I want you to understand how powerful this business can be and why I am where I am, and why I know that anyone who truly wants to pull themselves out of a dark place can, with this business, this company, these products, and this team. Okay? So I am going to break my training into quotes. I love quotes. I might have to take this off. I haven't worn this, so it's so tight on my head. Okay, we'll take off the crown because we're starting without the crown, right? So I usually break my trainings into tips. I'm breaking my training into quotes. So starting from when I first joined, okay? So when I first joined back in 2017, I had never even heard of network marketing. I was totally clueless. I literally didn't even know what any of this was. My first quote is, if you want what I have, do what I do, okay? If you want what I have, do what I do. And the reason this quote summarizes the first phase of my journey in this business is because I fully believe that even if there were 0 SeneGence trainings, 0 SeneGence Facebook groups, 0 resources at all, everything you can need is on social media. Everything. Because what I did as soon as I joined, because I knew I wanted to quit my job, so I wasn't looking side to side at the other people on my team or like within my downlines or my uplines team who were doing like okay in this business. I wasn't following the people that were doing average in this business. I was like, who's at the top? Who's doing this full time? Who's making the big checks? And I literally stalked them every day. I was watching their stories. I was looking at their posts. I was seeing how they worded things. I was looking at their emojis and the lighting that they used in their photos. Like you can tell, you can literally tell. Tell me I'm wrong. If you look at the Instagram of someone who's doing $10,000 a month versus someone who's doing $50 a month, there's a difference. And so I was like breaking everything down. And this is when I was brand new. I didn't have trainings. We didn't have resources. We didn't have the DOTS program or team pages. We didn't have all these things back then. And so I was like looking at who's at the top of this company. I'm going to do what they do no matter how scary it is. I'd never gone live. I literally cried for like 6 months doing live videos. They were terrifying. My anxiety was through the roof. But I would watch their live videos, not even joking. I could pull down notebooks. I have a ton of notebooks up here. I don't know if you can see them. I have all those notebooks up there. Those are all from 2017. I would watch their videos, their public live videos, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. I would find their videos. I would write down word for word what they said, and then I'd go do a live video about it. If they did a video about tinted moisturizer, write it down word for word. I'd go do a live video. If they would do a video about how to apply lip scents, how to remove lip scents, I became a carbon copy of the top people in this business. And I became a top person in this business. Success leaves clues. And everything that you could ever need in this business is out there. It's all out there to be found. We have so many resources now that didn't exist 5 years ago, but everything that you could ever need is found in stalking the top people. You go stalk them, you know exactly how they sell. You know exactly how they recruit. You know exactly how they find customers because everything is out there on social media. Sorry, my phone's dying. You guys, this is a hot mess. Here, I'm going to plug you in so we don't die. Okay, so our second quote is, so that was like the first, say, 6 months of my business. My second quote is, success loves speed. So if you're writing down the quotes, second quote is, success loves speed. Okay, I love this quote. What this means, I'm going to give you a little example of what this means, okay? So say you're learning how to bake cookies, okay? And so you find a new recipe for cookies and you bake them and you try one and you're like, this is really good, but it has a little too much salt. And then you don't make them again for like 6 months until you're like going to a party and you're like, oh, let me try to bake these cookies. So then you bake the cookies again, but you bake them the exact same way because it's been 6 months and you don't remember what you wanted to tweak. So you try them again and you're like, now I remember they needed less salt. Dang it. And so you're like, man, okay. So then you eat the cookies. And then 6 months later, you go to make the cookies. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's so long in between the cookies that you're like forgetting the little tweaks that you wanted to make. Versus you bake the cookies today. You're like, too much salt. Then the next day, you bake it, you use less salt, and you're like, this is so good, but now it needs a little more chocolate chips. So then like the third day, you bake it again, less salt, more chocolate chips, but then you're like, they're a little too crunchy. I need to bake them like a little less time. So then the fourth day, you can instantly, so do you understand how within like a couple of weeks, you can have the perfect cookie recipe because you did it every single day and you learned and you did it and then you reviewed it and you tweaked it and then you did it again and then you tweaked it and then you did it again. Do you understand? So success loves speed means I was sending like 5 messages, and if I got 5 no's, I'd tweak the message and send 5 more. And if I got 5 more no's, I'd tweak the message and send 5 more. And I was sending 10 times as many messages as anyone has ever even thought to send in SeneGence because I wanted to grow my team, I wanted to grow my customer base, and I wanted everyone to know about SeneGence. I've done more live videos than probably 99% of people in this company. I have talked to more people. I have posted more selfies. I've tried more products. I've done more product demos. I've done more parties. Success loves speed. So day after day after day, I knew I wanted to quit my full-time job. So I was taking massive action. And so I got very good. At first, I sucked at doing parties. Do any of you suck at doing parties? I was awful. I didn't get a sale in a party for like 6 months. I did multiple 0 parties. Zero sales. I remember, this is so cringy, but like I remember even the hostess didn't order for multiple months in a row. But guess what? I kept doing them. I kept doing them and I kept tweaking them and I kept tweaking how I showed up. I tweaked the posts. And no, we didn't have mock parties back then. I was making it up. I tweaked how I talked to my hostesses. I tweaked which night I was doing it on. The only way to get better is to plan, do, review. You plan it out, you do it, and then you review it. And then you plan it out, you do it again, then you review it. Do you understand? And so success loves speed means you do things over and over and over with massive action so that you actually have enough time to review what you're doing, tweak it, and try it again. Does that make sense? So success loves speed. Okay, so then, also another thing that I did when it comes to ranking, where's my phone? Hold on, I forgot that I needed to pull this up, so let me find it. It's gonna take me just a second, but this is right on, this is on the Better Together Beauties team page. I'm gonna read you an old post, if I can find it. Come on. Okay, so call me crazy, but this is how I ranked to Royal and Lady. I wrote this years ago. Okay, this is on our team page. I want to preface this with, I would never expect this of anyone. I chose this. This is over the top, but you can take pieces of it. Real talk. This didn't happen by accident. I didn't wait for this to happen. I made it happen. If you are ready to make success happen, to make ranks happen, to make sales happen, just understand the level of craziness that it can take, okay? So I wrote down the 5 girls that I needed for Royal and the 5 girls that I needed for Lady. I had their groups favorited. I posted my selfies and my wow videos into their groups every single day. I went live in their groups. I gave them posts. I commented on their posts every single day. I was incredibly active in their groups, treating them like my own. If I saw someone commenting in their group, I would even give them word tracks to message their customers. I was being put into group chats so that I could help them talk to their customers, okay? So say like, Shannon, I don't know the lineage here, but say like Shannon has a customer who has a question and Shannon's uncomfortable answering it. Shannon would immediately throw Rebecca into a group chat with the customer and say, hey, so-and-so has a question about this. Can you help me answer it? I was doing that constantly in 2017. Constantly. Okay, so I was in all of their parties, which is insane when you're talking about 10 people. 10 people doing parties every single week, and I was in all of them. But it's because I was making sure that those parties were successful by coming in, helping do videos, helping posting, helping with everything, all of it. I was crazy every day for about 8 months. I worked full time. I was home at night with my boys. My husband was only home on Sundays, and I cried every day because I was so stressed out. But it worked, and it created the massive momentum that led to everything that you see today. And I wrote this years ago. which now our team has done $11 million. When I wrote this, our team hadn't even done our first million. And so I wrote this saying where we were in 2018 was already far exceeding my expectations. But look at the momentum that I gathered from 1 year of insanely hard, crazy work has led to thousands of women being able to change their lives through this business. So I ended this with, it's not sustainable. You can't run at that level forever. I did that for 9 months. I don't think I've had to do it at that intensity level since, but you can rank yourself. You can find success yourself with your own hustle. I know it sounds crazy, but I promise it's possible. So anyway, I wrote that years ago, and I just want you guys to understand that if you are looking to change your life, you can. You have all the tools and all the power. Okay, so then my third quote. So that's like to lady, right? So now we're talking about switching to like countess level. Okay, so now we're talking about countess level, which is 3 lines deep. So now the quote is, we rise by lifting others. So when I really finally started building a strong foundation, okay? Because what I did in the beginning wasn't a strong foundation. What I did in the beginning was insanity. What I did in the beginning was me bringing everyone with me, pulling everyone with me, because I knew that if we had enough people and enough momentum, we could figure it out. So once I started trying to build sustainably, I had to start helping people build their skills. Instead of me just building everything for everyone, I had to help other people build their skills, right? So that's where the quote, we rise by lifting others, comes in. And that's now our team quote still 5 years later. So with this, you know, one of the biggest things that I hear, because I have a lot of conversation with leaders, not just on our team, but within SeneGence, I get to do a lot of coaching calls. I get to do a lot of mentoring. And a lot of people will come to me and they're just like, ugh, my girls just don't want to order, or none of my girls hit 300 PV, or they're all under 300 PV, or whatever. There's just a lot of like complaining about downlines, right? And so I always have this conversation where I'm like, nobody wants to order less than 300 PV. Nobody. You want to order at 300 PV. If someone is ordering at less than 300 PV, they don't know how to hit 300 PV. They don't know how to get those sales. And so instead, when I'm talking to leaders and when I look back at, 2017, 2018, me in my journey, my main focus was helping every single person who was under 300 PV get over 300 PV. That was my number one focus. How can I get you over the line? What can I do to help you? What skills do you need? How can we help you find new customers? How can I help you find messages that work for you? What videos can we do? What skills are you lacking? Sorry, I need to drink water. Hold on. I'm yelling too much. So we had these conversations over and over and over. And a lot of people will look at me now and say, how is helping one person go from 200 PV to 300 PV, how does that help anything? I have 1,100 people on my team and I still do this. Why does it matter? When we're talking about multi-millions of dollars, why does it matter if I'm helping one person go from $400 to $600? And I will tell you, and if you're under 300 PV, I know you're going to know that this is true. If you can help someone go from earning very little, just very little, if you're ordering at 20%, 30%, you're not seeing much profit on that. And if you can help someone go from making $10 to making $100, that's huge. It's huge. If you can help someone go from making nothing to making $300, it's huge. I just talked to someone 20 minutes ago who was crying about being able to pay her electric bill. And when you can help someone to be able to pay their bills or to make $100 or $200, then that person has a story. And stories are what will bring success in this business. And when you can help someone have a story, then they will want to help other people have stories. And so those people who go from 200 PV to 300 PV actually become the top leaders on your team. The people who struggle in the beginning and then have breakthroughs become the top leaders on your team because they have a story and they know how hard it takes to get there and they know what it means to have those breakthroughs. And so one person on your team who goes from 200 PV to 300 PV can change their life, can change hundreds of people's lives, which in turn can change your life. So I fully believe in we rise by lifting others. So then, hold on, let me find my last quote and I will wrap up with you guys here. So then we get to January of 2019. I was a duchess. Our team had hit $1 million, which was huge. And I earned the trip to Australia, my very first trip, the first time I met any of the cool people in this company, cool people. And I was so happy to be $1 million duchess. I was telling anyone who would ask me, like, oh my gosh, I'm $1 million duchess. Like, my team's at $1 million. I'm so excited. Like, I was freaking out. I was so happy with how far we had come. And then I had a one-on-one with Joni. It was my first time to have a one-on-one call or a one-on-one conversation. I sat next to her. She literally sat next to me on the couch and we went over all of my numbers and everything. And I had this call, or I keep saying call. I had this conversation with Joni, who is the founder of our company. And I asked her, who is going to hit Crown Princess this year? Because the year before we had had 200 new Crown Princesses. And that was huge. It was a huge moment for our company. 200 Crown Princesses. A Crown Princess is someone who builds $1 million team 5 lines deep. Okay? $1 million and 5 lines deep. I was $1 million duchess and I was happy with that. And she told me no one was going to hit Crown Princess. And what happened was our company had gone through really massive growth in 2017 and 2018. And after massive growth, there's always going to be a decline. That's normal in business because that massive growth is not sustainable. So we were still massive. Our company is massive, but we had a decline because 2017 and 2018 was so insane. But what happens when you have this decline is everybody who's at the top freaks out. And so in 2018, which many of you weren't around back then, I don't know if any of you were, people were leaving the company left and right. It was nuts. They literally called it the Sena Exodus. Okay. It was crazy. People were leaving left and right. There were bad feelings everywhere. People were saying you couldn't build $1 million team here anymore. Like, it was so toxic back then. It was real bad that year. And so I come in so happy to have built $1 million team sitting next to the founder of this company, like totally clueless. Who's going to be a Crown Princess? And she was like, nobody. And so my last quote that makes me cry every time I talk about this is, be relentless in pursuit of what sets your soul on fire. Can't even say that twice, I'll cry. I went back to my room after having that call and sat down with my husband and said, I have to hit Crown Princess. Because we couldn't go from a year having 200 Crown Princesses to having none. Because then all of those negative people would have been right. And so I made it my pursuit to hit Crown Princess within 90 days to make sure that everyone in this company knew that it was still possible. And so I came back from Australia. I rallied our team, which back then was Morgan's magical team. We weren't even BTB yet. I rallied our team. And in 90 days, we did what nobody else has done. And I became the only Crown Princess of 2019. And nobody could say it wasn't possible because we did it. And let me tell you that we changed the company. And, sorry, I still get messages 2 years later, almost 3 years later, about how inspirational our team is to everyone else in this company, because we do things that nobody else does, and we stay positive, and we have vision, and we know that it's better together, and we know that it's better to stay positive and just say, why can't it be done? Who said it can't be done? Let's go. Let's do it. Can't hit queen? Let's do it. Guess what? We were the only new queen in 2021. These things aren't coincidence. It's because we have the vision. It's because we are relentless in pursuit of what sets our soul on fire. So, I love you guys so very much. I'm so proud of you. I know this wasn't a tactical training, but that is my story. That is my journey to Crown Princess. Those are the quotes that if you live them and breathe them, you can get there too. I fully believe it. So thank you, Rebecca, for having me. I have to jump off and go to the next one, but if you guys have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you in Better Together Beauties. You guys know I'm live all the time, but if you ever need me, reach out. I'm happy to talk to any of you. Bye, guys.